We'll now move towards conducting a two-way or a test for independence chi-square test. In order to do this, we're going to select Analyze. And then we're going to actually, this one again is a little bit not so intuitive. We're going to come down to where it says Descriptive Statistics. We're going to find this crosstabs option. So Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and crosstabs. We're using what's called the cross tabulation. And the reason we're using cross tabulation is because if you happen to recall from the PowerPoint, I showed you an example of setting up your personality, introvert versus extrovert, and then we had the four options of different color preferences. And so that setup of comparing or looking at the relationship between those two variables within that table is called a cross tabulation. So we'll select crosstabs. Notice that it gives us an option for rows and an option for columns. In the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, I placed veteran as our row and sex as our column. And remember, this is asking the question, is there an association between these two variables or not, right? So our null hypothesis would state that there is no association between these two categorical variables, while our research hypothesis would state there is an association between these two categorical variables. We're going to select statistics, and this is how we're going to tell SPSS that through this cross tabulation we are going to be conducting a chi-square, so you would want to make sure chi-square is selected. Hit continue. We also will come into the cells option. Notice that we have observed counts already selected. I mentioned in the PowerPoint lecture that the observed, that the word counts kind of takes the place of observed. We also want to select expected so that it's indicating to SPSS, make sure you show us both what was observed as well as what we expected to see. That's the only option we need to select. Click OK. And then we'll click OK for this analysis. So we have our case processing summary, which is a table that's giving us all the kind of overarching information about this analysis. This is indicating to us that our two variables involved were veterans and sex. We have a total of 1,057 people. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I completely forgot to run the frequency distribution for veterans. Let's do that real quick before we come back. So analyze descriptive statistics. This should have been done before we conducted the test for independence. So my apologies. I'm going a little bit backwards. Click OK. This sex table is the same as we had for the one-way goodness of fit test. We are now including the veteran test. If in your SPSS assignment, if you decide to use one variable for your one-way chi-square and also incorporate that variable into your two-way chi-square, that's totally fine. You are entirely welcome to do that. Where I'm going to kind of turn you away from is please make sure you're not using the sex variable for your one-way chi-square, since we've already done that in this demonstration. And I don't want you to use veteran and sex as your two-way chi-square. So you can keep one of the variables or have it entirely two different sets of entirely different nominal variables. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so we've included, we have a frequency table for our veteran variable now. Make sure this is included in your analysis or in your assignment. I'm going to scroll back up here because this is where our two-way chi-square analysis results are. So we have our veteran by sex crosstab. Remember from the PowerPoint lecture that this count is telling us how many we observed, and the expected is how many we expected to see. So we had 60 males who are veterans. We expected to see 31.2, so we had more male veterans than we expected. We observed 13 female veterans. We expected 41.8, so we saw fewer female veterans than we expected. For males who are not veterans, we observed 392 where we expected 420.8. So we have male non-veterans underrepresented in our sample. And for female non-veterans, we observed 592, but we expected to see 563. So in this case, females are overrepresented. Non-veterans specifically. So we have the test results. Remember that when you are interpreting these results, you are only using this first Pearson chi-square row. So our chi-square test statistic is 49.808 or 49.81. We have a degrees of freedom of 1, and we have a significance level of less than 0.001. And that all corresponds to the reporting results that's found in the PowerPoint lecture. So that's it. Hopefully, being able to make your way through this video allowed you to see the connection between what it is that we're doing within SPSS and how it aligns with what was discussed in the PowerPoint lecture. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. Catch y'all later.